Know thyself, know thy enemy. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. Sun Tzu. Welcome, 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 everyone. Good afternoon, evening, good morning, depending on what side of the world you are on. I am Letra Davis, your host for today's LeLesChronicles. Are you ready? It is Friday. I am excited about that, and I hope you are excited about that also. And today is Self-Care Fridays. You all know how we do this. Fridays are dedicated for us to learn different ways in terms of how to take care of ourselves, because it is absolutely imperative that we are on a lifelong journey as to how to take care of ourselves. So what we're talking about tonight is know thy enemy. I began this podcast with a quote from a Chinese war strategist, and his name was Sun Tzu. And if I'm mispronouncing that, any of my Asian friends are more than welcome to give me a ring and say, Letra, honey child, this is how you say it properly. I am not immune, or I am not against getting help. So I think it is pronounced Sun Tzu. And again, I would love to learn it correctly if I am not saying it right, okay? Sun Tzu was, as I mentioned, a war strategist. He was a phenomenal general in the military, and he is credited for helping military units learn a different way of war. And he wrote a book called The Art of War, and it is in 13 chapters. And within those 13 chapters, the word force, in our way of thinking of force, meaning fight, is only mentioned 9 times. Okay? If you ever have the opportunity to read or listen to that book, it is phenomenal. And one of the quotes that he is most famous for saying is to know thyself, know thy enemy. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. So Sun Tzu's way of thinking was use as less force as possible and learn how to overcome your enemy by first knowing one's self, and then learning and studying the enemy. Psychologically, he wanted to approach war, and he tried his best and taught the military that he was in charge of how to win wars with at the most forceful way as possible. So try to find ways to get the enemy to submit, to concede, to say, y'all win, okay? Now, what does that look like when it comes to self-care? I'll explain. But before I do, would you be so awesome for me? And would you like, would you comment, would you share, and also subscribe? I am on a wonderful journey in getting 1,000 subscribers before the end of 2020, and I'm asking for your help with that. Would you do that? Just real quick. Just do it real quick. Just push that button that says subscribe, and then go back to see other content regarding Self-Care Fridays, Motivation Mondays, Relational Wednesdays, and Scholarship Saturdays, okay? Thank you so very much. All right, here we go. Sun Tzu. Again, he was a Chinese military strategist and a general, and he taught philosophy, psychological ways of winning wars instead of the tactical, forceful ways. Now, that's not to say he did not also teach those components of war in terms of fighting techniques, but he felt the best way was to learn oneself and then learn the enemy psychologically and then approach it from those two standpoints. So self-care is a learning that we should be on a journey to. as to how to know what is best for our own mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being, right? If you've listened to any of my previous podcasts on self-care, you understand that I am so passionate about it because people go through life frustrated. They go through life angry. They go through life bitter because they have not learned the art of self-care. And it really is an art, okay? So if we were to go into an art gallery together and we see paintings on the wall, I can guarantee that if I stood next to you, you and I would most likely see something different. We would most likely get a variance of interpretation as to what one painting means to the other. And we may be surprised at listening to one another, how we interpret the picture and what that picture represents to us, right? So self-care is not going to look the same for myself as it would look for you. And self-care would look different for you than it would look for someone else you know, all right? So this is, let our time together serve as a tool, a resource. And then as you are searching for the artistry of your own self-care journey, you can implement anything that I share, or you may not feel like it's helpful. It is your journey, okay? I'm just an encourager and a cheerleader for you. I champion for you to learn your self-care journey. So when it comes to knowing thyself, oneself, you've got to know what helps you relax. You've got to know what helps you rejuvenate. You've got to study yourself to know what helps you to be in a calm state of mind, a place of serenity, okay? You have got to learn that about yourself, and you may need to help other people understand that you're on that journey, because people who are, such as myself, very intuitive and very telepathic and very deeply concerned about the well-being of others, we want to help people so very much that we sometimes can forget to do what we need to do to take care of ourselves. And it could also be that we have been raised or conditioned to think that psychologically, if you are focusing on self-care, then that is selfishness. And I want to just say, no. It is not selfishness, my sweethearts. It is actually self-respect. It is actual self-love, not selfishness. Selfishness is when you only take care of yourself, when you only do things for yourself and don't reach out to help other people. That then is absolute selfishness. But what I am talking about this afternoon is the opportunities for you to find your self-care journey and what helps you to be a more energetic person, a more peaceful person, a more calm person. If you have constant wars within yourself, if you're at battle internally, you better believe you're going to be in battle with other people. And that's not a healthy way to be. So what we want to encourage today is learning how to be calm, and you have to do your due diligence and search and research what helps you. That may be reading a book, right? That might be listening to some wonderful music. That might be, some people would say shop therapy, but you have to be careful with that. If your credit score is bad and you ain't paying your regular bills like your utility and your housing, then you may not want to do some shop therapy, okay? So that's a whole nother podcast. But shop therapy could be your way of releasing some stress. You may need to go to the gym, or if you can't afford a gym, or you may not be comfortable being surrounded with other people as you exercise, you may just find some time early in the morning or in the evening before you relax for the evening and get you some cardio in, do some type of jogging, do some type of in-place movement to get your heart rate up, to exercise, to get your blood platelets moving and your oxygen in your body going and your endorphins moving, right? So those are some ways that you can learn how to self-care. Know thyself. Know what works for you. Now, on the opposite of that is also knowing what are triggers, okay? What are points of tension and contention that makes you in a place of unsettlement, restlessness, anxiousness, stress, okay? You might want to know what happens when you hear certain things, when you're around certain sounds, when you're listening to certain conversations, okay? If certain conversations are surrounding you and swarming around you all the time and you find yourself irritated by that, what can you do to possibly remove yourself from those types of conversations, either directly between you and other people or yourself hearing other people in a conversation that is bringing you into a place of unsettlement and stress? What can you do to change that? What about the foods that you eat? If you find yourself sluggish and feeling drained after eating pizza, hamburgers, French fries, all of which I love, you okay? Trust me, I love that kind of stuff. But how do you feel when you've partaken of that? If you're constantly eating those types of things and you're always sluggish, you never have energy, you may want to consider incorporating some fresh fruits and vegetables in your diet so that you can then combat that sluggish feeling, okay? Your body needs proper nourishment. It does not need a bunch of junk. Listen, I had me a few of those Snickers, those little dinky rinky Snickers. I had me a few today, right? But I also had me a mango and banana homemade shake because I knew that I needed to get some healthy things in my body as well, okay? And I can't overindulge in the bad things. That's what I'm trying to say. So know what works for you that helps you get to a peaceful place, but also know what's working against you about those things that are enemies, those things that you're doing to yourself or you are allowing yourself to be around that is not helpful to you. What about the people in your life? What about folks that just never encourage you? They are always belittling you. They are always poking at you. They are always just at you. Can you put yourself in a place to say, you know what, I respect myself enough to not allow that to go on anymore, so you're going to need to stop that. You're going to need to speak out of your mouth and cause that person who's doing that to you to say, that is not okay. I don't want you to do it. It is not appropriate. Those are words that you're going to need to say. Now, I understand some of you all may be younger. You may have a parent that is like that towards you, and I'm not trying to suggest you be disrespectful to your parent, but I am saying you can try as best as you can to let them know that that does not make you feel good when they speak to you in such a manner. You really, really have to do that. That's very, very important, okay? So that was my awesome son calling me, and I'm just going to have to call him back. All right, I love you, son, but I will call you as soon as this is over. And I just want you to understand that people that you are surrounded by, first find the peace within yourself. Learn how to walk through the journey of being peaceful within yourself, and then you can then outwardly, externally exude that place of peace for people to respond to you differently. Really, really, really important. Battling it out with folks being confrontational with people, attacking people, that is not the way to go. Sun Tzu, his method was knowing thyself, getting yourself together, and then working with other people, okay? You can do it. I know you can. We're here together. If you have been inspired by this content, if you want to learn more about Sun Tzu, if you never knew about him before or you want to learn about him, please research him. He was phenomenal. He has incredible quotes. I am a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, and the Bible is what I believe in. But guess what? God gave wisdom to folks that did not necessarily contribute to the scriptures and the Bible, okay? So don't be afraid to look at other people and glean from some wisdom out there, okay? Love y'all so much. Love, light, Litra. I love you. Blessings. Peace. Bye-bye.